Everybody. Thanks for joining in with our Coffee with a Candidate program hosted by the Chamber of Commerce. With us this morning, we have our current state representative, Susan Lynn, and she is running for re-election. We're going to spend a few minutes with Representative Lynn and talk about some of the things that are important to the voters in the upcoming election. And with that, good morning, State Representative Susan Lynn. Will you take a minute, tell us a little bit about you and your campaign this year?
Okay, thank you so much, Mark. And Mark, first I want to thank you and the Chamber for providing this opportunity for the candidates. It's been very hard to campaign through COVID, but as you know, I'm a longtime member of the Chamber. I'm a huge advocate for the Chamber. I tell everyone I know to please support the Chamber. And I also love my community and helping the people who live here. And I thank them for the honor of serving as their representative in Nashville. But I was first elected in 2002 and I served until 2010, and then I was reelected in 2012. I am married to Michael and we have a local business here in Mount Juliet, the Lynn Agency uptown, but I do not work there. I'm the company financial controller for really a multi-million-dollar business here in Mount Juliet. It's an LLC. We have 2 adult children. They're both married and they've blessed us with 6 grandchildren. 3 are in Wilson County schools and 3 live in Nebraska. Our son and daughter-in-law are both Master Sergeants in the Tennessee Air Guard, and they're actually full-time active duty. And we are longtime members of First Baptist Church Mount Juliet. In the legislature, I am a fiscal conservative who is pro-business and strong in education, and being fiscally responsible and both pro-business, I've earned the endorsement again this year of the National Federation of Independent Business, the highest rating from the American Conservative Union. Americans for Prosperity has given me their highest rating, and I've received the highest score from the Tennessee Chamber, so I'm very proud of that. I'm A-rated by the NRA, and I'm endorsed by the State Employees Association. I have many state employees who live in Mount Juliet, and I just love to see them out in the community when we see each other. And I'm so proud to be endorsed by the Professional Firefighters of Tennessee. I am 100% pro-life. I was honored to sponsor the Governor's Heartbeat Bill this year, and I have an A voting record on that regard. I have a leadership position in the legislature. I'm chairman of Finance, Ways and Means, and in fact, I'm the first woman in Tennessee to ever serve as chairman of Finance, Ways and Means in either the House or Senate. Some of the most important matters to me, of course, are the fiscal responsibility of our state, and also education, because that attracts employers. And I just want people to have jobs.
Well, congratulations on your appointment. This last year was an interesting session, to say the least. Got a lot done in a very short period of time, took a little break, evaluated the impact of the pandemic on the state economy, and then got back together again for really, I guess maybe if I'm mistaken, it was 3 items on an agenda with a special session. You don't see that very often, but it turned out to be it was a very, albeit short, it was a very productive session, and some good things came out of that. Can you share with us what happened during that time?
This really was one of the craziest years, because due to COVID, we quickly passed an emergency state budget in March with the commitment to come back in June. And when we had a better idea of what COVID was going to do, and then fund other things. So that's what we did. We passed a quick state budget. We came back in June. We passed another budget where we increased funding for education and some other matters. And then we came back in July because of COVID. It tarried on. We had no idea it would. But we passed things like online medical office visits, so that you can have telemedicine and you can visit your doctor over telemedicine. It's turned out to be enormously popular, and people are really using that. We also passed some liability reform because businesses were afraid to open due to COVID. And then we also passed a bill to support our police officers and really deter any riots in Tennessee because of they were happening all over the country. And as you can tell, it was very effective. We are not having the riots in Tennessee, and we are protecting our police officers.
Well, that, if I'm not mistaken, that perhaps among the toughest, if not the toughest legislation against doing things you shouldn't be doing on public property or even private property.
Exactly. And, you know, it really just affects riots, not peaceful protesting. Peaceful protesting. I was a peaceful protester. I got elected on the heels of that income tax fight that we had. We've since made the income tax unconstitutional in Tennessee, but I was a peaceful protester. Peaceful protesting is fine. This has to do with rioting, and what it did was stiffen penalties that were already in our code for law enforcement who are attacked. And it truly is the strongest legislation in the country.
In a previous session, you went, no doubt about it, it's no secret, you went out on a limb and voted for what was then called the Improve Act, promising people that if you'll get behind this, or this is why I'm supporting this, and it wasn't popular everywhere, but you put a lot at stake to lead the charge for the passage of the Improve Act. There have been some consequences, or some things that have happened that have benefited Wilson County. Would you share with us what it was then you were hoping to achieve with that, and some of the things that have actually been done or in the process to benefit the citizens of your district?
Absolutely. You know, since the Improve Act passed, in fact, the year after it passed, legislators came back and said, you know, I wish I had voted for that. It really did make sense. What the Improve Act did was it was a revenue neutral bill to provide more state road funding. And in fact, it was more than revenue neutral because it actually cut state taxes by $250 million. So what we did was we lowered the food tax and raised the gas tax, and in a revenue neutral way. Why do that? Because Tennesseans buy groceries every week. We eat at home, and think about it, in this age of COVID, everybody was eating at home, saving money on that food tax because we lowered it. We raised the gas tax. Why? Because Tennessee is a real pass-through state. We have I-40, 24, 65. People drive through Tennessee all day. They stop and get gas. They're using our roads. Why should they not help to fund our roads? So by rebalancing these tax rates, Tennesseans save money on their groceries. Yes, you're spending a little bit more on your gas, but it's truly in a revenue neutral way. And really, in this age of COVID, I've had people say to me, I'm not getting miles per gallon anymore. I'm getting months per gallon. So you're saving on your food tax, and you weren't even paying that much for your gas during COVID. So what that did was it provided many more road projects for Wilson County. And as a result, we have 2 projects going on right now on 109. And we have 2 projects on I-40 out in Hartsville Pike that is being rebuilt. We have projects, the Central Pike interchange. Central Pike is going to be widened. Up at Bender's Ferry in that area by Kangaroo Market, there's a project going on there. And people say, well, you know, you passed that bill, but you know, why are these not in process yet? Some of them are, many of them are in process. It's just others of them weren't quite as far along, but they were included in the list. They're in engineering, they're in land acquisition, but they are getting done, and you should see them happening very, very soon. I think rebalancing the tax rates as we did is a fiscally responsible thing to do. And the bill made sense. And as I said, it ended up with a $250 million tax decrease. Among the taxes that we decreased was the whole income tax. That is going away this year. In fact, in the 2021 budget that I just passed, there was a bit of a fight. Some of the members wanted to extend the whole income tax and have that continue on because we didn't know what would happen with COVID. And I just said, no, we have made a commitment to get rid of the whole income tax. It helps retirees and helps people in those golden years in Tennessee, and we don't want to break our promise. So our promise is kept. It is going away 2021, and people should be very happy about that.
when you mentioned two projects on Highway 109, can you quickly share with us? It's all 109, and it looks like to me that they've kind of blended those two projects together and just put the whole road under construction at one time to maybe get it done sooner, perhaps?
Absolutely. If we had not passed the Improve Act, you would probably see the North project happening now, but not the southern end project closer to Lebanon Road. So because we provided the funding by the Improve Act, and really the engineering was all done, the land acquisition was all done, what they're doing is doing those two projects consecutively. So it looks like it's one project. It's actually two different projects, and that's only made possible by the funding provided by the Improve Act.
For those watching, and I'm sure a lot of people ask you in the district because it cuts right through, but completion date to go from the river to I-40, completion date for the whole thing to be done?
I am hearing, and dates change, they get rolled out, but I'm hearing spring of 2021 to fall of 2021. So
I know a lot of people are looking forward to
I just hope for safety. I just hope, we just need people to slow down, and we'll get it all done, and it'll be a safe road, and much safer road for everybody.
I think that doing it all together, it's a monumental task, that's for sure, but that'll be a major improvement for Wilson County. And I want to touch on, you mentioned Central Pike. The Central Pike interchange is something that comes up, and it's been coming up. The Improve Act also bumped that up a little bit, or helped with the Central Pike interchange.
It absolutely did. It's helping with the funding of the Central Pike interchange. That's in engineering right now. And as soon as that is done, there's not that much land acquisition. There's only a few property owners. Usually with a road project, there could be as many as no more than 100. Because there's so few property owners, it should go rather quickly. And they are very cooperative property owners. We shouldn't see anything end up in court. Another thing that can delay a project is ending up in court because, it is hard to adequately compensate someone for putting a highway in their front yard. I would feel much the same. And sometimes people take issue and they, maybe they want a little bit more. They have special circumstances. And constituents have called me before, and I've advocated for the special circumstances and tried to get those issues solved. And we have.
If you're going to put a highway out there, though, you sure don't be the one that road that's the house that's right there that they don't want.
I know. It's hard, but we do thank all those property owners for really thinking of the better, the bigger picture of the community and the safety of the community.
Those are a couple of things specifically to Wilson County, but with the leadership role that you have at the state government and the state as a whole, your district, Wilson County, the area around, we've had some good news with jobs, and Amazon here in Mount Juliet, right across the river, Sumner County, got Beretta, and now they're getting Facebook. So the business climate, drawing businesses that we all recognize into the state of Tennessee, and some specifically right into your district. What do you think are some of the reasons that make Tennessee in the current climate so attractive for businesses to pick up? In Wilson County just this week, another announcement of a company moving from California right out there on Highway 1 and Lebanon Road, over 200 good paying jobs. What do you think contributes to that? And what are the challenges that you're going to be facing to keep us leading the way like that?
Well, I can tell you, since re-elected in 2012, I can tell you flat out leadership. Our governor strongly supported policy changes and legislation that would support economic growth. And I joined right in there because I saw the wisdom of those policy changes. And in fact, Tennessee has been rated the #1 most fiscally stable state by U.S. News and World Report. And Money Magazine has actually named Mount Juliet in the top 50 places to live in the country, which is really impressive. And we really saw those policy changes. Also with education, businesses want an educated workforce, and they want to see very good test scores for the schools that we have in our district. And that has happened. We have provided more funding. In fact, we have provided $1.3 billion in more school funding since I came back into the legislature in 2012. And in fact, the 2019 budget I passed had the single largest increase in school funding in state history. I was so proud to do that. Of course, with COVID, we did not cut the BEP budget at all. Schools are actually receiving, the BEP is providing actually more state funding than it did in the 2019-2020 budget. For 2021. We're actually providing more funding, but we didn't provide those little extra perks that we always like to provide and new programs. We couldn't do those, but the BEP funding for growth, the monies that build schools, there's school funding, our school money to build schools in the BEP. We provide that money, and that all important student growth for areas like ours that are fast growing, that is all in that funding. So that concentrated effort of working on policy changes to attract businesses, working on a tax structure where our taxes made sense. We did the realignment with the Improve Act. And then, of course, concentrating on education, we've really been able to attract more businesses to Tennessee. And as I said, we're a very fiscally stable state. Our pension fund is fully funded. We're only 3 states in the country have a fully funded pension fund. When you don't have a fully funded pension fund, those funds come out of the general fund, and you can't use that for things like education. We have a growing rainy day fund. We've really tried to be very responsible with our state budget, and I'm really proud of that. 52% of our county school budget comes from state BEP funding. 52%, 7% comes from the federal government, and the rest is county funds. So those things attract businesses. That's what they want to see. They want to see an educated workforce. They want to see a great place for people to live. When a business comes to Tennessee and they're looking at locating here, they visit our schools. And when they can visit a beautiful new school like Green Hill High School, Springdale Elementary, that's impressive to them. And they say the families who are moving here will want to send their children to these schools. We like that.
Well, a lot of people may not, they probably underestimate the importance of a fiscally responsible and stable government. That is huge, because predictability, knowing what to expect. And so my hat's off to you and to your fellow legislators for keeping Tennessee so fiscally strong. As you go back in, and we'll wrap up here, but kind of tie this into why you asked for a vote from the folks that are watching, but some of the challenges, a couple of them that might be facing the new session that will convene in January, and why what some of those obstacles are, and why you would be the one best suited to serve as our state representative.
Well, I definitely think that I know that we're going to face a challenge with next year's budget because of COVID-19. We are going to see sort of a hangover of state revenue coming in. And so, you want people whose goal it is to be fiscally responsible. One of the things that we try to do is to make sure that Tennesseans have enough money in their pocket that they can live. They can live well. As I've knocked on doors over the years, one of the things people have said to me most often as I knock on doors, I knock on those engineers' doors and other people, and they say, Susan, the professional privilege tax, why do we have to pay this? Well, in the 2019 budget, I actually cut out the professional privilege tax for 17 professions in Tennessee, and it is gone. It is absolutely gone. So they will not have to pay that. So we want Tennessee to remain a low tax friendly environment. I also want to make sure that Tennessee continues to live within our means and provide excellent programs for citizens like educational opportunities, mental health services. That's something we were going to do in the 2021 budget, but COVID-19 stopped us. And then also our governor has a tremendous heart for restorative programs for people who are in prison or leaving incarceration. And those folks, you know, they need to have a job or else they may end up back where they were. Tennessee actually has programs that employers can take advantage of that will bond someone if they have a crime that you say, well, we don't normally hire someone with that crime. Tennessee will bond that person for you. And if they commit a crime where you sustain a loss, you can cash that bond. And but otherwise, you can give that employee a chance, and hopefully they will appreciate that second chance and become a good employee and provide for their family. As I said, in 2019, we had the single largest funding increase for the BEP in the state, and I want to go back and revisit that. We were going to do tremendous things in the 2021 budget. We were going to provide a school counselor in every school, expand vocational educational opportunities, and I want to go back and revisit that. That is not going to be lost just because of COVID. So we also have issues with unemployment and our employers, but the unemployment rate is actually down in every single county in Tennessee. So Tennessee is getting itself together. In the past, I've worked very hard to ensure our state, of course, has strong road funding. As you know, we've already talked about that. And I will continue to work with our local officials to ensure that Wilson County, that our infrastructure keeps on pace and keeps up with the growth. And so we have a lot of work to do when we go back, and I'm very excited and eager to get back, hopefully, and do that. So
well, share with us somebody that might want more information, website, Facebook page, office number. They can say hi to Mary while they call down or whatever, but share with us how somebody can get a hold of you.
Well, sure, absolutely. Google me. My number comes right up. I believe my cell phone comes right up. Find me on Facebook. I have a state rep page. I have a personal page. You will find my cell phone there. I always put out my cell phone on my election materials, so you should be getting them in the mail. And then, excuse me, also I have a website. It's susanlynn.us, susanlynn.us, so please call there. The office phone number is 615-741-7462. People call every single day. They need help with unemployment. They need help with workers' comp. They need help maybe with an issue with their driver's license or the Hope Scholarship. So please call. We are so happy to help you. And I just want to say in closing, thank you so much for the honor of representing you in the Tennessee General Assembly. I do my best to be very responsive and answer your questions in detail. I don't just give you a short answer, but I'll answer you and give you that detailed information and give you links right to bills, whatever you're looking for. So I would appreciate your vote again on November 3rd.
Thank you very much, State Representative Susan Lynn. No stranger at the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for your service to the constituents in the district. To you and everybody else that's running, good luck. Early voting starts October the 14th. The election will be on November the 3rd. Thank you for all you do, and the best of luck to you in the upcoming election.
Thank you.
Good day.